What's up, everybody? This is Cory, and I'm doing a Bitcoin Made Simple episode talking about Bitcoin mining. As you guys know, I've started a mining journey and getting that process set up. So I thought I'd update you guys on what exactly it is I am doing at the moment, how things are going, and hopefully I can convince some of you guys to do something. If you can afford it and it's worth the risk, hopefully other people can jump in and do something similar. So anyways, but thanks to our sponsor, the BitBox02 hardware wallet from Shift Crypto, and also Movies Plus, which I got to talk to you guys about that because holy cow, is running a company in general stressful, but you know, sometimes I think I am going to lose my mind because it's pretty crazy. The ups and downs of being a business owner. And you sit down and I just give you a little story. I mean, I had this deal that I thought was like a complete like done deal, ready to go. No reason to think that it wasn't a done deal. And then there's just nothing that puts you in a better mood than right before dinner time getting a text saying that the deal fell through and it's not happening. So that was fun. Just really sets you up for a good mood for the rest of your evening. Like when something like that happens, I'm like, seriously, you just ruined. I mean, maybe I need to be mentally tougher, but it basically ruined the rest of the evening. Because then you're just in a bad mood and you're thinking about that whenever really, and then it makes me even more mad because I just want to be enjoying time with my kids. My off time, I spend all day working and I'd like to not be thinking about work whenever I'm done. So anyways, that's always fun. But yeah, so Movies Plus is chugging along. And we've got 4 Bitcoin documentaries on there now. So I hope you guys are checking them out. And you can get a free trial. Just go to mymoviesplus.com or download the app, and in the app store you can find it. Get a free trial. 30 days, check it out. And some of the content too is up there for free, like without even needing a free trial, just in front of the paywall. So check it out. I might start putting the podcast there. And if you're a podcaster or somebody like that that has content, reach out to me. And I'd like to, help facilitate, because I think we're going to do something with the podcasting 2.0. I'm really digging into the research there. In fact, making a note of that now for my to-dos. Podcasting 2.0. Yeah, so we things are chugging along there, but yeah, anyways, so to the Bitcoin mining, I had posted a picture on Twitter. I don't know if anybody saw it, but my miner did arrive. And I will say it arrived a lot faster than I expected, which was great. So Nick at Kaboom Racks, thank you very much for hooking that up. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of coffee. Luke says I shouldn't drink coffee late in the day. But I don't know. Maybe I should switch to decaf or something. I just remember as a kid, like going to things and like seeing adults like drinking coffee still at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. So I don't know. Maybe it was decaf, but whatever. Anyways, so yeah, so I got the miner pretty fast, and one thing I learned that you guys will want to learn if you're doing Bitcoin mining at home is to meet with an electrician. I knew that it required a more heavy duty plug, but yeah, it requires a 220 volt plug, which a 220 volt is what your dryer uses. If you have an electric dryer, your dryer will use a 220. And I think that's the only thing. Maybe like if you have like an electric water heater or furnace like we do, then you would have that as well. But anyway, so I did have to get an electrician to come out because the plug you get for these things, it uses so much electricity constantly that it needs a more heavy duty receptacle. And it doesn't just plug into, unfortunately, a regular outlet in the wall. That'd be great, because I would have been mining immediately. But yeah, so I think I wish I would have had the electrician come out earlier, because he came out a week ago. Still waiting on a quote from him, and I mean, I'm sure he's just crushed with work, as a lot of the people in the trades are. Um, so but I had him come out and take a look, and if I would have started that process before I bought the miner, maybe this would have been running a little smoother. But is what it is. So, anyways, I got the What's Miner 110, and it consumes about 3,400 watts a month, kilowatts a month. So, you know, get into the profitability of that in a little bit, but it. I talked to Nick Ikaboomrax, and I was like, all right, what am I going to need power wise? And he's like, well, you're going to need a lot. So I was learning that not every house is capable of handling that much electricity. And I looked up. He said, he was like, go look at your the transformer outside. They have numbers on them, and like 15 means it gets like 15. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever the watt number is. It's like pretty standard. Fortunately, ours is 25, and only two houses are running off of it, so good to go there. And we have plenty. But Nick was like, yeah, I got like tons of. He has tons of miners running, and he said like it kind of burns the grass around his telephone pole. So I don't necessarily want to get to that level. But yeah, like I said before, it consumes like twice the amount of electricity or the average household uses. Like if your house uses gas and electricity, so not everything's running on electricity, then what the average is, like 12,000 kilowatts or something like that, 12,000 kilowatts a year. Uh, but yeah, we use more than that because everything's on electric. But yeah, so you're going to be doing about 25,000 kilowatts with the electricity for this Bitcoin miner. So, anyways, you're really going to be pulling in the electricity, and it's going to be loud. I haven't even gotten to that point yet, but I will find out. But anyway, so yeah, so we got the miner, and it should make. Let's pull up. Crypto compare. Ugh, I hate that word. Crypto compare. There's a couple places that do Bitcoin mining calculators. So if you just go to Google and Google Bitcoin mining calculator, you'll have multiple options. And what's nice about that is then you can go in and you can type in like what the terahash is of the miner. You can then plug in the power consumption, which is estimated roughly, and then you put in the cost per kilowatt. And then it breaks down for you like how much money you're making off of everything. So with the price of Bitcoin, let's talk about that for a second. Holy cow. We're down at 29.9. We all saw that one coming, didn't we? Sorry, coffee again. Yeah, we all saw that coming. Not. But yeah, you're looking at you for this miner I have, you're looking at consuming like, I mean, the electrical cost is going to be about $270 a month, um, just in electricity. So based on the price of Bitcoin right now, and that's with me paying 11 cents per kilowatt. So if you want to do the math on what that is, somebody else can do it. I'll figure it out for you here. But yeah, it's you take the watts, multiply it by 11 cents, and there you go. So, anyways, with the price dipped at the moment, obviously it's a little bit less profitable if you're looking at it in fiat terms. So on a month to month basis, it will mine 0.01355 Bitcoin. 0.01355 Bitcoin a month is what it'll mine. And then based on that price, based on the price of Bitcoin at the moment, you're looking at, let's say, 0.01355 times $29,981.77. So it's $406 worth of Bitcoin. And then you subtract the electricity, which is $270.07. And boom, you have a profit of $136. Um, so obviously, if you hold that though, if you hold that Bitcoin, we all know that the price is going to go up forever. So, I recommend people do it that way. You mine the Bitcoin, you hold the Bitcoin, you don't spend the Bitcoin. And if anything, one thing I'm learning that'll be pretty good is if you are mining Bitcoin, probably be a good idea. Let's say, okay, so let's say I have a stash of Bitcoin. Let's just use an evil corporation that none of us like here in the Bitcoin world, but let's just say Coinbase. Um, let's say I bought, let's see, what's the electrical cost for the year? $3,200 is what the electricity will cost for the year. So let's just go for a 1 year basis. Let's say I bought $3,200 worth of Bitcoin off of Coinbase at some point in the past, and I have that sitting on a wallet. As you know, that's very KYC sticky friendly. It's, they know who it is, where it went, all that fun stuff. And not that you want to hide anything, but I mean, we're all privacy advocates. So, you get your Bitcoin, you get your 400 and some dollars worth of Bitcoin. And on this, it shows the profitability where you take the $270 out and pay off your electrical bill. What I would recommend you do is, and what I probably am going to do is, let's say you have a wallet with that $3,200 worth of Bitcoin on there. You take $270, whatever the electrical bill is. So if it's $270, you take that off of the KYC Bitcoin and you move it to the exchange, sell it, and pay for your electricity that way. And on a new UTXO and a new wallet, you have all your mined Bitcoin streaming into it. So basically, I don't want to use the term wash because that sounds really bad. And maybe it's just the top of mind because Ozark. I'm in the middle of the last season, which by the way is great. I just wish I had more time. I'm too exhausted at the end of the day, and I know I'm not going to be able to just watch one episode. But anyways, so yeah, I'm not trying to make it sound like you're laundering. That's not the case. But you take this dirty KYC Bitcoin and use that to pay your expenses, and the non KYC Bitcoin that you get from mining, put that right in your wallet. So I think that's a pretty good way to move about the business. So yeah, I would meet with the electrician because first of all, it's a great way to orange pill somebody. Because the electrician's sitting there, and I had the miner sitting there and I'm explaining to him like what power I need. And he's sitting there going, what in the world do you need that much power for? And I explain, and he's like, huh, he's like, I've heard of Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. So, cracked my knuckles, got right into it. And, started explaining Bitcoin and the pros and cons, the benefits, and it's kind of fun, especially having the conversation with somebody who is a electrician because he gets it. You know what I mean? He gets the importance of electricity. He gets a currency backed by energy. Like it was kind of an easy sell for him. So yeah, we talked about that, but one of the things I would say, if you'll excuse me, got to take another sip of coffee. I could edit these out, but I mean, that's just more. I hope that didn't bother anybody. That if that was bad, just let me know. I won't do that again. It might like be one of those things like hearing slurping. Like my wife, who she would listen to this, which she doesn't, because I know she does not want to hear me talk about Bitcoin. Or at least any more than she has to. But that would drive her nuts. because if I take a sip of something and it's not the quietest thing in the world, she's just sitting there staring at me like, why are you the loudest, sloppiest human being in the history of existence? And I mean, I kind of am. So guilty as charged. Anyways, back to meeting with the electrician. So I talked to people, and like shot some messages out to people. Like, since I'm new to where I moved to, a couple of people that I've met, neighbors, things like that. I sent some text messages out and said, "Hey, do you know anybody that does electrical work?" Blah blah blah. And they were like, "Well, there's some people that like they're not, licensed, you know, contractors or licensed electricians, but they can do the work, which you can find that anywhere." Um, and I even had some people recommending. They said, "Yeah, find if you know get a buddy that knows how to do it and give them a case of beer. It's much cheaper." True, but one of my buddies is my insurance agent. It didn't work out that he wasn't my insurance agent first, and then my friend. He was like my friend from high school and college, one of my best friends, and his dad owned an insurance agency. So obviously, I get my insurance through his dad, and then now through him. Um, and I just like, I mean, in my head, I'm like, I follow the rules. And I want to make sure all my I's and all my I's are crossed and my T's are dotted. Um, and so I was like, I got to do this with a licensed professional. It's got to be, somebody. So then I texted my buddy. I said, I got to do it this way, don't I? And I mean, he's the insurance agent, but he's also my friend. And he's like, yeah, dude, you like, you got to do it that way. But that way, I mean, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying that I'm more comfortable with having, for insurance purposes, my butt covered, where it's done up to code. I know it's done up to code and it's done by somebody, who's licensed for that and all that kind of stuff. So that might make me like a pansy Bitcoiner. I don't know. But that's what I was comfortable with. So that's what I went with. But anyway, so he came out and we, it was good. It's probably going to cost you like, if I just want one receptacle, probably like $300. If I want multiple, like two to three, then maybe it would cost me up to like $400 or $500. So we'll see. We're still waiting on the quote, but it's money well spent in my mind, because, like I said, it covers your butt and make sure that you are, good to go. Not just from like an insurance perspective, but like, we're talking about some serious, serious wattage here. And I don't know, electricity. I don't even like installing ceiling fans in our old house. My father-in-law was like, "Oh, we could do it," and I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to do it," but we ended up. Um, but I just, I don't know. Electricity scares me. Um, I mean, I'm not the handiest person in the whole wide world, but I can do a lot of things. But when it comes to electricity, I'm like, yeah, I just see myself kind of being like the Tim Allen, Tim the Toolman Taylor, getting zapped and electrocuted. I did one time zap myself pretty good. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Not the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'll save that for another time. And I'd have to figure out what that is because I've probably done some pretty stupid things over the years. But yeah, so I was we were doing Christmas lights at my parents' house when I was like a college or a teenager or something like that. And in one of the bulbs, like those bigger bulbs, not the little ones, but like the like true Christmas light bulbs, it had the glass had broke and we had them plugged in and we had replacement bulbs. So I was like, oh, I'll just unscrew that one. And in my mind, I was like, I'll unscrew it by putting my thumb on the inside so that I don't have to grab the jagged edges. And untwist it that way. Well, yeah, I put my thumb right into the electrical current, and I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was enough to be like, like, oh, that was stupid, that was stupid, that was. Anyway, so maybe that's why I'm terrified of electricity. But I think most people are not people that should be messing with electricity. So that's why I say I recommend getting somebody that is licensed to mess with electricity. Because like I said, outside of assuring yourself, that you're okay from an insurance perspective, it's probably just good for your safety. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to wake up to the house being on fire. Um, so anyway, so he came in, and it was good too because they do HVAC, and I kind of wanted to get his opinion on like how could I pipe this heat into different places and everything. Now we have a pretty good little area that I'm going to put it at. Maybe I'll do a video on this eventually once I'm like actually getting it up and running, down in the basement. But the area that we have it down in is pretty nice and cool. Um, and underground, all that good stuff. So I think it actually might help the performance of the miner and actually like clock a little bit better and have a better performance so that I'll actually be getting probably more terahashes out of it than I should be and be making more money than would be projected. But anyways, so he said it's pretty good to have it down there. It'll keep the machine cool. Now, I'd asked about the heat because my thought process was, he does HVAC. So, like, well, maybe he can help me pipe it into, or I could just do it myself, which is probably what I'll end up doing. But, like, you can pipe the heat out of the house. So, like, from where I'm at in the basement, there is an area that I know gets to the outside because there's a radon tube that goes from underneath the house and has like basically a pipe that comes up through the ground and goes out the side of the house and then runs up along the side of the house to the roof. So I know exactly where that comes out on the outside, and I can see in the basement where it goes out from the inside. So I was like, well, if I want to, I can literally just pipe the exhaust right there. So summertime, it's May now. Like I have the pool person coming, so we're gonna be outside and would rather have the heat go outside. But according to him, and I'm gonna pick his brain when he comes back, but he said that he thinks it actually I should just run it in the basement area there. And I'm not 100% on what he was saying, but basically something with the heat exchange, having the heat in the basement in um, the return vent, or that goes to the outside, right there. He seemed to think that it would draw the heat in and actually help the cooling of the house. So I am curious to see how that works. And then he said for the winter time he would just run it and see how it goes, through osmosis, I guess, or I don't know, just run it on its own and let it fill the house. But that being said, I don't know. I think I'd probably want to pipe it into the vents because I might have mentioned this last time, but like Adam O said, I think he said his house was like a pretty toasty through the winter. I mean, he's Denver Bitcoin, so he lives in Colorado. It's not a warm winter place. Um, and he said his house was pretty toasty from mining. I think he said he was mining in his like garage or something in a townhouse. It was like below, so it was just radiating up that way. I don't know if he had it piped directly into the vents. So based on your situation, you might want to pipe it into the vents, but if it's just going to be below your dwelling, then let it just rise on up, and yeah, we'll see. Now, noise mitigation, I'm curious to see because it is going to definitely be noisy. But we'll have it. I'm just lucky that we have like to give you an idea as to like how far away this will be, so that once I start talking about how noisy it is, then you guys will have an idea. But like down into the basement, and then you like go to the right, and there's a separate room that has like the treadmill and weightlifting, all that kind of stuff in there, and then you go through that room into this like back room, and it's kind of like a work area, but also has the furnace and like the hot water tank and our well pump and everything like that is right there. And it also has a breaker down there, so we'll be able to run off of that breaker, which is nice. But anyways, uh, so the it's going to be far removed, and I'm hoping that I don't have to do any too much noise mitigation. The From the workout area to the work area, there is an opening, and like the people that own the house before just kind of had put up like a curtain, um, and which would be fine normally, but I think I might fit like a door in there to get rid of the noise and just kind of put some soundproofing on the other side. But that is all to be determined. So we will see how bad it is here once I get it rolling. Um, but yeah, so that's where the location of it'll be, and it'll be pretty far removed from everything. But that's not everybody's scenario. So I'm also looking at, what would I need to do if I put it in the garage where we'd be walking past it a lot. I don't think it would be too bad as long as you have the vent coming in from the back. Like you have to be able to get the airflow in and the airflow out. But if you surround it, I mean, you see Steve Barber's black box. If you can afford one of those, then just buy it. I probably would like to get one of those eventually as I keep adding, but for the time being, I just wanted to get rolling and kind of get my wrap my head around it. But you could kind of make your own. I think even Adam O, who works with Steve, I think he said he had like kind of made his own before the black boxes were ready to go. So you can mitigate the noise, and I have this like old like metal like work shelf type thing that I'm gonna put the miners on. So you could like build around it. And one thing that the electrician actually said is he was like, you might want to make sure that you have like some kind of filter in front of the fan that's sucking the air in, just to, I mean, because this is going to be running 24/7. So like you don't want it sucking in dust and particles and all that junk and gumming up the works inside your computer, your Bitcoin mining machine. So yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that it's at least protected. And where am I in the basement? There's not going to be a lot of moving parts, not a lot of moving particles and stuff like that. So it should overall be pretty safe. But just keep that in mind. Like if you're going to be in the garage or somewhere where like dust gets kicked up more often, then that might be something you want to put more focus on. So, anyways, but yeah, the other reason to get a professional electrician is, I mean, it's beyond complicated, and like I don't know what I'm looking at, and it's really hard. Like, do you want to go on Google and like Google, how do I know if this is a 220 line, and then just trust that you're right? Um, but anyway, so we have a breaker that runs down to the basement. There's plenty of power, and based off with the electrician, he'll be like, if you get an electrician, you can just sit there and ask him. He'll be able to tell you how much you would be able to support at some point. Like conventional wisdom was that like you on an average house could probably support somewhere in like the like three, maybe four, like three might be pushing it. But definitely you could do like two S19s. Um, but yeah, I wanted to see from him, and he was like, oh, you could, based on our capacity and the amount of breaker space we have, he's like, you could get up to like eight if you wanted. And I said, well, as my wife would like to know, we'll take it easy, take it slow. Because I told her initially, I said, I just want to kind of plow money into this and let's go for it. The whole, like I said last time, the business, what business can you buy that is immediately kicking off free cash flow? So in my mind, I was like, let's do it, honey. She was like, why don't you get one and see how it goes? And we know how it goes because, it was same with Bitcoin. She's like, why don't we just, dip your toes in, see how you feel about it? And, a little over 2 years later, here we are. Boom. So yeah, so that the profitability I mentioned, I want to see what other things I have. But yeah, and you're gonna, I mean, filtering is, I think, going to be important. So I'll keep you guys posted on if I'm able to come up with any creative ways to do it. But oh, another like little tip. So Nick from Kaboom Rex told me this, that you for tax purposes, you can actually depreciate your miner all in the first year. Um, so let's just say, for those that don't know and don't take this as tax advice, please use a tax professional. Don't take anything I say as advice. This is more just an observation of what's happening to me, and maybe you can make educated decisions based off of how dumb I am. I don't know. But yeah, so for tax purposes, um, basically, because it is a computer, and computers you can depreciate against you or use the depreciation to lower your taxable income. So let's just say the minor is $10,000. That means if you paid on 10,000, it reduces your taxable income by $10,000. So on that $10,000, you know how it comes at refund time. Let's say you paid 20% on your taxes, so that's 2 grand, and it lowers your taxable income by 10,000. So that's $2,000 in federal taxes that you will get back at refund time, or not have to pay if you do it up, do your quarterlies and all that good stuff and do it by yourself. So yeah, that's how that works. And if you look at it that way, you actually, your minor comes with like a 20% discount or whatever your income is. I mean, if you're in the top tax bracket, if you're like paying 35% in taxes, it reduces, you get $3,500 back in taxes that you would have had to pay. So basically the, actual cost of your minor is now $6,500. Or if it's, 2,000 you're getting back, you got a $10,000 minor and it only costs you $8,000. Um, so it's a pretty interesting way to go about it, and definitely something that's doable, um and totally up to snuff. I mean, it's you do that with, if you don't do that with your like computers, your phones, anything like that, any electronics you buy, you should be talking to your tax professional and saying depreciate those. I'm just lucky because my dad was a CPA, so he'd been doing my taxes for ever since I needed taxes done, and he knew all these tricks and ins and outs of the tax biz. So, anyways, yeah, that is all I can think of for the time being. Um, but yeah, if you guys want to ask any questions, if I and I'd like to get an army of us all doing this together. So like if you're gonna start Bitcoin mining, let me know. And that'd be cool. Like I know when I did the first episode, I had a bunch of people reach out to me and say, hey, I'm really excited to see how this goes and where you take it, blah blah blah. And so yeah, I hope that other people get some value out of it, but I hope it also inspires others to do the same thing, and mine that Bitcoin and get that Bitcoin rolling and get it going into your wallet, and get yourself some KYC free sats. And yeah, it's just I think it'd be good if more of us are doing it on our own at our homes. And then I'll also probably in the next episode, because I do got to run here, I got some T-ball tonight. So big coaching night, big game, big game. We're gonna hopefully keep our undefeated season alive. And I joke because it's T-ball and we don't keep score, but I do. No, it's fun. I love it. I love baseball. My kids love it. So it's a blast. And if you are not at the T-ball age yet, and you don't have kids, or you're going to have kids, just wait. It is an absolute blast. And I strongly recommend you be a coach. But anyways, so yeah, I'd just be interested to see what other people are doing. And I'm going to talk to a few people, interview some people about mining like on location with them, because I'm paying 11 cents per kilowatt hour. But I know that there's different businesses that offer to host your mining for you. And that would be fantastic, because then you don't have all the headaches. Now the downside is that your machine's not on site. Not your machine. We always say not your keys, not your machine. But or not your keys, not your cheese. But yeah, I would say you want to have your own machine. That being said, you know, it may be a mix of both. I mean, because you can only get so many miners at your house. So yeah, just see how it goes, see what you end up with, and roll with it from there. But anyways, yeah, I think that'll do it for this one. I'll have more updates on that type of stuff, and appreciate the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. Shout out to them. Go to shiftcrypto.ch/ Bitcoin made simple. Use the promo code Bitcoin made simple for 5% off. And I mean, seriously, guys, if we haven't learned anything, it's that you need to get your keys off the exchanges, put them in your own hardware wallet. Not that hard. If I can do it, anyone can. And the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet is a beast. It is easy to use and it is secure. And it's a good looking wallet too. Just ask Luke. But yeah, and then also check out Movies Plus, everybody, because that would make my life easier. As all the stresses I have in life in business, the more customers we get on Movies Plus, the easier everything else will become. And I am to the point where I'm going to lose my freaking mind because I do everything by myself. I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining because I'm not, but I mean, I really do. It's the life of an entrepreneur. It's what you do as an entrepreneur. You end up doing wearing more than one hat. But I was just telling my wife, I mean, like, it's like I just get shit on on a constant basis from left, right, and center. Um, and yeah, so it's super fun to be the business owner that's sitting there busting his ass trying to get everything done, trying to put out a million different fires and do a million different things and handle a million different things, only to have people come to you that are unhappy and you're not doing things perfectly enough or good enough for them. And so you got to take the good with the bad. I guess some people will just bitch and complain about everything, and that's something I got to work on, is not letting that affect me. Like, because seriously, I'll get like, anybody else get this with like work? You just get an email or like a text, they'll just like ruin your freaking day. And I mean, it's just a difference between me and my wife. I carry things with me. I hold grudges. I don't let things go. Probably my weakness, one of my weaknesses, my only weakness. Where it's like when I tell this stuff to her, she's like, "Why don't you just don't let it bother you?" And I'm like, and that's totally her. She's like, "Yeah, I mean, I just won't let it bother me." And I'm on the other hand, I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna freaking bother me." Um, so yeah, it's something I gotta get better at. And I'm hoping to have some exciting news for the podcast, but also maybe it'll lead to something with Movies Plus that I've been hoping for, and a connection that has been made for me that hopefully we can do some good with, and it'll be something that you guys will all really enjoy. Um, and hopefully I can make some more Bitcoin content for you guys. I got to figure that out. Maybe I should turn into do like a mining series. I don't know, to figure that out. I'd have to map it out and see, like, because I want to just be like YouTube videos. But if you could do like a story documentary style, there might be something there. So I'm just hashing this out in my mind as I talk. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see how this goes. Bitcoin price is down. Terra Luna, gonna Terra it a new a-hole, because that, I mean, who didn't see that coming? So just be careful out there, plebs, and don't listen to influencers. And really, nobody should be an influencer. It should just be advice givers, and you influence yourself with your decision making and critical thinking. But yeah, that just disappointed in some people that were pumping the Terra Doquan's tires and all that, and ended up getting a bunch of people wrecked and hurt. And yeah, so just buy Bitcoin, hold on to it, and hang tight, because as Luke said, I think we're gonna have some smaller cycles here. So we had a peak in November. It's about six, and then about a 6 month period here where we've drawn down to the low. So we'll probably bump back up again. Even Dr. Bear, joking, Dr. Jeff Ross, he was like, I'm kind of turning bullish, like based on the sentiment. I mean, you think about that, like 40,000 Bitcoin for Doquan were liquidated, and Bitcoin held the line. I mean, it went down, but like it didn't go to like 12K. It dipped a little bit below 30 and bounced back up and has been right around there. So yeah, overall, everything's bullish. And as long as you have the right time horizon, the right time preference, then it's always bullish in Bitcoin. So thanks again to the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet from Shift Crypto for sponsoring the show. You guys are great. Check them out at shiftcrypto.ch/Bitcoin Made Simple. Use Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off and check out Movies Plus. Everybody go check it out. You can do a free trial and hopefully we just keep pummeling you with content. I mean, I literally have like thousands of titles. That's one of my that's one of my stresses is I have thousands of titles with a very small team to get them up and ready and watchable, ready for people to watch. So anyways, all right. Yeah, just reach out to me, Bitcoin Made Simple Podcast at gmail.com if you have any questions. And I will talk to you guys next time.